There we go. And before I start presenting, I would like to introduce some of my elementary ed teammates. They're going to share their name and content area. So maybe you can make some connections. Elizabeth,
Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth Mon and I'm the project manager for Fine Arts.
Lisa,
I'm Lisa Seisleb. I'm the project manager for science and engineering.
Shayna,
Hi, I'm Shayna Klassen, the project manager of health and physical education.
Regina,
Hello, I'm Regina Hine, and I'm the project manager for Gifted and Talented and Advanced Placement.
and last but not least, Christy.
Hello, I'm Christy Barris, and I am the project manager for Elementary English Language Arts.
Well, if you have not seen, I know my colleagues will be adding the link to the slide deck in the chat box because when I make slide decks, I like to make them interactive so you're able to click and go or copy. So today we're going to talk about AI 101. What is AI and what do I need to know about it? So there we go, move to the next slide. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Karen Leonard, and I'm the Program Director of AI and Digital Learning. And I would love to be your thought partner on any and all things AI. Reaching out to me via email is probably the easiest way to make contact with me. Tonight, we're going to learn some basic information about AI. We are going to understand how AI can impact education. And also, I'm going to share some resources and ideas for learning about and using AI. But first, you have to let me know by putting something in the chat or unmuting, what is the thing that worries you the most about AI? I think I can probably predict some of these. Is it accurate? Definitely a big concern there. And some of you might be driving or unable. I think the number one worry, accuracy good, is plagiarism. Or will it take over my job? Will students use it to cheat, use it for good? Oh, see, you guys are right in line with all of that, good or evil. And Vanessa, that's good. I like you saying that because unfortunately it can be really good and unfortunately it can also be kind of evil. Copyright infringement, those are all completely valid concerns. Well, today we're going to first talk a little bit about what AI is because if you're going to use it or even know anything about it, you might be, even after just an hour tonight, be the expert in your school or your district. So I have to give you a little bit of background about what it actually is. And here's my number one thing. I do not believe that AI is here to do your job or take your job, but it is here to help you do your job better. And whether we like it or not, AI tools have already infused themselves in our environment, whether we have Alexa or Siri or any of the GPS navigation maps, Amazon, Netflix, they're all there. One thing that we cannot do is we cannot just turn it off. And we need to help our students understand, and our parents and community understand what AI is so that we can ensure safe usage. I'm going to kind of break down what artificial intelligence means in terms of everything I'm sharing tonight. It's when computers or machines are able to do things that typically require human intelligence. And it doesn't just automatically know information. Humans have to provide it with a data set, and then it trains itself on that data set. And the type of AI I'm talking about is generative AI. That's the kind that can either create things or complete tasks for us. and it learns and improves with practice. I think that's probably the thing that gives me just chills every time I think about it. The AI we have right now today is the least intelligent AI we will ever have, which is just very mind-blowing to me. And it does understand human language and it knows how to interact with us. We do not have to necessarily learn coding skills, although it can help us with that. But we can talk to it as if we were just talking to another human. And it's really been around for quite a long time. If you are a Jeopardy watcher in 2011, IBM's Watson IBM AI tool actually competed against some of the top highest ranking or winning Jeopardy players, and it won. We know that when we came home for Thanksgiving in November of 2022, by the time we came back to school, AI was out and everyone was just very concerned. They weren't sure about it. Districts were turning it off. And, we were very concerned about how it was going to be used. So that is where our role as educators comes in to help students learn to use AI appropriately. I like this graphic because we do need to understand what AI is and what it's not. It's just a tool and it's not meant to replace a human. It's already embedded in so many things, so you can't turn it off or ignore it. It definitely can include inaccurate or flawed information, which gives us a great opportunity to teach our students critical thinking skills and problem solving so that they're able to check for that bias and accuracy. And it definitely needs to be used ethically and responsibly. We have to teach our students that it's not just a free pass to cheat or plagiarize. It's a tool. Humans are ultimately important. I'm sure that's why many of you went into the role of education, because you like to make connections. You like to help people learn. Education is key and humans are there. Okay, a couple other things we need to know. Like I mentioned, the type of AI I'm talking about is generative AI, sometimes called Gen AI. And it is really mind-blowing in so many ways that it can create text, images, music, even videos now. And it does learn from a large amount of existing data, and then it just takes that and transforms it into new outputs. The most commonly known AI tool is ChatGPT. That was the one that first came out, I think it was November 29th, 2022. It's probably the most well-known one. People have kind of actually turned it into a verb. I'm just going to ChatGPT it. It can answer questions, create things. But there are lots of other AI tools out there, and each day more are developed. What I like to tell people is when I use an AI tool, I typically tend to use 2 or 3 to ensure validity of information and what is the best possible use. Sometimes it sounds like, gosh, Karen, you're using 2 or 3. Why don't you just think on your own? I do think on my own, but the speed at which these tools are able to work and produce information makes using 2 or 3 to counter check each other just very easy to do. On here, some of my favorites right now, I am paying the paid version of ChatGPT, but Claude is an amazing one. It's Claude by Anthropic AI. Another great one is Perplexity, and I like it because it provides me with the links to the sources where it pulled that information. Another thing you need to know about AI is it does not work independently. It takes a human telling it what to do, and we tell it what to do by using a prompt that's, again, written in normal language, and the better the prompt you craft, the better the output. It also works with predictive text. Basically, it's scanning all of the information and trying to determine what is the most likely word or information that would come. And for some of us that are older, I'm sure many of you are able to complete the last number, 867530. Okay, Christy, oh, I see some people, 9, right? And one of the ways that I really like to teach people how AI tools work, and an example of machine learning when you're training that tool, is Code.org has this amazing game. It's linked right here, AI for Oceans, and you're trying to train this AI bot to identify items if they're fish or not fish. And it goes through and shows you a picture. And the first 20 times you're saying, yes, it's a fish. No, it's not. By about the 20th time, it's recognized the patterns and it determines that fish have eyes and fins and tails. So it will start asking you, this is a fish, yes? So you see the training process. What I also like to use this for is to go the opposite way and show how it can be trained incorrectly. So if I say that everything that doesn't have eyes and fin and tails is a fish, I have maliciously trained that tool. And that just brings up some good conversations for students. I know with elementary students, I'm really not talking about students using AI, but we still have to teach them those elements of AI literacy. And this is a great tool for, third, fourth, fifth grade students to even use. The information an AI tool is trained on is called a data set. And again, based upon the information it's provided, that's where some of that gaps in information and bias can be found. And I'm super excited that Oklahoma, we are the 11th state that produced guidance, and just great. I've loved all of the training I've had to do or been able to do. I do have a link to my YouTube channel that has all of my past recordings and webinars. So you can go there and maybe check out a tool or two. We also have an Office of AI and Digital Learning webpage that you can access using that link. And we do have recently revised guidance for using AI in the classroom. Many of the elements of this guidance document are things that you can just take and use right away. The immediate impact of AI. So how do we ensure academic integrity? With many of your students, you're probably not going to have to worry about that at the elementary level. First of all, I say this about educational technology, and I'll also say this about AI. If the EdTech or the AI tools do not enhance or extend learning, then we don't need to use them. Students don't need to be glued to computers. They need to play. They need to be collaborative. But we do have to think about the fact that how is our world going to change as AI evolves? Well, many of you were talking about, cheating in class. And maybe not, again, your elementary teachers, you probably don't have to worry about this, but this is something you could share with other people in your district. AI detectors are horribly false and they give many, many false positives just because the AI tools are continuously developing and the AI detectors are not, because why would companies want to invest large sums of money to detect what AI can do? Our students are pretty smart too. There's even sites where they can take something that AI has created for them and put it in another site and say, make this sound more human. But what you can do is, we do need to allow the use of AI at times. And I think we have to train our students when it is okay and when it's not. This is a great tool that could be used maybe with middle school and high school. I like the fact that anytime AI is used, we ask our students to disclose the use. Okay. I'm going to skip that. One thing I do want you to know is recent statistics and studies show that this is really kind of scary. About 60% of students will use AI inappropriately. Or I think, are you able to see Sophie on your screen, her head moving? Okay, Sophie is just one example of a digital human, and she has evolved greatly. Many students will look at that and say, oh, she looks like someone I know. And you can either type or have an audio conversation with her. So what Sophie has done in the past is, I mean, she's not speaking as fluently as we would, but she's able to only provide certain amounts of information. Is that right? What information can you share, Sophie?
Karen, we can't hear her.
Oh, well, you know what? I have her linked there so you can go in and play. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me know. It must be something with my computer and speakers. But the reason I wanted to show you Sophie is because, again, if you're an elementary teacher, if you have children, if you've got any family members, there are many sites that are unsafe. I mean, look at this one linked here, Nomi.ai, an AI companion with memory and a soul. I mean, that's scary right there. So one of the things, even elementary, we have to talk to our students and let them know not everything they see is real. If they want a friend, to ask for help in developing friendships. We do not want them to turn to these tools to have conversations and make friends. It does happen. So this is our responsibility to teach them that these are sites that they don't need to go to. I did link them all here. I'm hoping that all of those are blocked at your district. And if not, you might want to share them. The thing is, this is not a comprehensive list because new sites are developed all the time. Okay, now for the fun part, teaching and learning with AI. Gen AI is still relatively new, and some concerns people may have is academic integrity. We do have to worry about data privacy. We do not want to have any identifiable information shared within an AI tool. The accuracy or unreliability or bias. And here's another one. We do need to ensure that we are allowing access to AI for everyone, because I can tell you, I work extensively with other states and other countries on how are they using and integrating AI in K-12 education. And I would hate to see our students fall even further behind because they are not having access and being taught how to use that appropriately. It can be used to supplement human intelligence, not replace. So here are some quick starters. I like these. Someone shared this and compared them to like Mad Libs. But these are things that you could copy and paste. How can you provide an example of the water cycle in real life? Or what are 5 important themes in this learning unit? These are things that you can just copy and paste into any AI tool and, look at the output. Can you provide a step-by-step summary of? Notice, I'm talking about you putting these in. I'm not talking about students at your grade levels really using it on their own, but maybe you're modeling the appropriate use of this. And here are some starters for you. It can help us make better decisions. Again, sometimes it's like that thought partner. I like to ask it, what are the pluses and minuses? And it will give me greater benefits and problems. And then I'm able to make my decision. It comes up with ideas that I hadn't even thought of yet. And it does not replace humans. It can boost our expertise and improve our productivity if used appropriately. But here's what I really want you to think about. Just a couple weeks ago, school started, and may have had some 10-year-old students, typically probably in 5th grade. They'll graduate from high school in 8 years, possibly graduate from college in 12. So think back 12 years ago, where were you and what were you doing? Think of some of the tools you have now and the way your life has changed. I know that my Apple Watch, there's so many tools that have come along that have just become integrated in my life. 2013, man, if we wanted to watch Netflix, we had to go get that DVD or wait for it to come in the mail. Now, think ahead to 2037. Okay, we can't predict what life is going to be like, what tools and experiences our students will have, but we have to prepare them for that world. And I think it takes a village. We all have to work together. Just by the way, to make you feel kind of old, our kindergartners will probably be able to retire in about 2085, which is just so mind-blowing. So how AI can affect student learning? Well, it can definitely provide personalized support. It can help with writing development, engagement, and accessibility. So I'm going to show you some ways. I'm going to skip through a lot of these things. AI can create leveled text. You can copy and paste text into an AI tool and ask it to rewrite it at a higher or lower reading level. So picture this. I took some text from an 8th grade US history book, and I had it rewrite that content at a lower grade level so that my students that read on level and my students that read below level can at least read the same type of information and be able to have conversations, not saying we want them to remain at that below reading level. But we know that in content areas like science and social studies, sometimes they are not able to read all the concepts. Or what if we have students that read way beyond grade level? I know I taught 4th grade and I had some that were reading 9th and 10th grade reading level. So you can ask it to change the text to make it a little more challenging for them. Same context. What if I took that US history text and turned it into a haiku? And now I've got something, and my students and I can play what do you notice and what do you wonder? And we can talk about the elements of what do the first and last lines have in common? And that's a great way to maybe introduce concepts, and then they can write their own. Think, pair, share. Lots of brainstorming with AI as a teacher. Here's one of my favorite things. Students can grade AI responses. So let's say I'm teaching 4th grade and we're talking about strong sentences and ensuring that punctuation and grammar is correct. Instead of me creating subpar writing samples, I can ask AI to do it for me. And then I can give that to students, and they're actually applying what they know to try and improve the writing. Maybe they rewrite that with stronger verbs. Some students can have a debate with AI. There's a wonderful tool called Teach AI, and I will show you that in just a few minutes. Here's another one. I took that same US history text and I put it into 2 different tools, Microsoft Copilot and Google Gemini, and I said, write an essay on this. So now I'm able to use my critical thinking skills to determine which version is better? What's best? I like how Copilot broke it down into chunks, but I like that Gemini told it into more of a story format. And again, I didn't have to create different versions on my own. The tool did it for me. It can provide analogies for you or create lesson hooks, or again, another one of my favorite tools, ask for misconceptions. Especially maybe you're an emergency certified teacher or a first or second year teacher, or you've switched content areas. If I were to teach algebra, which no one would want me to do because I'm not math based, but I could ask AI to provide some common misconceptions when teaching certain lessons. And I would probably do that a lot. That way, I wouldn't have to wonder what students are doing. I kind of have a database of common misconceptions so I can support students in real time instead of coming back and looking later. I can also create reflection prompts or rubrics. No one wants to make rubrics, and then they can create it. And the great thing is, you're able to modify everything that AI makes for you and make it your own. AI prompts, you can have conversations with historical characters or literary characters. The great thing is I would probably, and I'll show you and teach School AI how this can happen, but then we teach our students to examine what those AI generated people are saying to determine, is what they're saying accurate? Could that have happened within that time period? But whenever we're using AI, we always have to ensure humans are in the loop. It starts with a human. They tell the AI tool what to do. And then when the AI tool provides output, we never, ever, ever just take that output. We have to humanize it. We have to make it ours. And whether that's pulling 2 or 3 different versions from different tools together, or if I don't like what the AI tool gave me, I'll ask it to create another version and another version. And, I can continue that on until I can take bits and pieces from each of the outputs and create something for me to use. Okay, so one tool I know that is being used across our state is called School AI, and I am trying to sign in. Can you see my School AI login now? Yes, no. I see Lisa. Okay, great. What I like about School AI, and this is a tool that based upon your district's beliefs and your IT department, you could use with elementary students. Students do not log in to this. They join via a join code. It can be pushed out in Google Classroom, or they can just use a QR code. And what is really interesting about this is called spaces. And many spaces are already created. What a space is, I'm going to go to one of my spaces.
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking if we could see the login, like do you want us to see your website that you're playing in?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. You know what? I'm going to, let's see now. Yay. Okay. Great. Thank you, Lisa. Now
Okay.
I'm on School AI. Here is a space I created. It took me just 2 or 3 minutes about the Constitutional Convention. And what this does is it allows a student to have a dialogue with this tool. It's, again, students are not logging in. They might give themselves a nickname or initials for you because you're able to see the dialogue of every student. And for once, because we often don't get this, we can see what students are thinking. So like I said, Here, welcome to the Constitutional Convention experience. In this role play adventure, you'll step into the shoes of a delegate representing one of the original 13 colonies. As you engage with other delegates, you'll discuss critical issues that shaped our Constitution. So here allows our students choice. And I can go down here, pick a state, and we're going to dive into the discussion. And my friends that know me know I'm going to pick Georgia. I can speak it instead of typing it, which is great for our younger learners. It is providing output, talking specifically about what the issues were possibly in Georgia during the Constitutional Convention, and it will never tell me an answer. It will just question me and make me think about different things. I've seen a school that used this to create, what is their science fair project going to be? And it starts off having a dialogue, what's something you like to do? You like to travel. What do you like about traveling? You like to fly in an airplane. Have you ever wondered how an airplane works? And it just can help them narrow down the information. Another great thing about this is if someone puts in information that would be inappropriate, it immediately flags the teacher. So no one else can read these conversations between this site and the student except for you. I mean, students can't read each other's. And the great thing is, let's see if I can go back in. I'm going to manage a student session. And I know that here was a math addition adventure. Oh, that one didn't have me good information. I'm going to try. Let me go to number 3. Here was a bell ringer on, I think it was water, but look, students show understanding. Here is the conversation. The budding scholars talking about it. Good morning. Let's start with a quick warm up about the water cycle. Have you ever wondered where water in your glass comes from? And everything you see with a green K is my response. And, oh, great. But have you thought about the water, how it affects weather patterns? Great. And again, you notice that it is just providing questions so that students can discuss, and it will redirect them if they happen to go the wrong way. And I think
there's a question in chat.
Yeah.
So do you just type in school AI?
Yes, you can just Google school AI. Another thing let's show is, like I said, it took me no time to create mine, but I want you to look. Here are some popular ones that are already created. Oh, let me go back. Discover. You're able, if you find one you like, Science Lab Safety, 3-2-1 Reflection, Shark Tank, New Chocolate Project. If I like one of these, I can open it up and then I can copy it and remix it to make it mine. I think that's ingenious because we're able to take something somebody else has started and make it ours. Look, I can put standards in. And like I said, students can talk to it or type to it, and it will, if I go back, it will translate into many different languages so that students are able to just talk with it confidently in their own language, so that they're able to practice those skills, maybe related to science or ELA, without, the trouble of a language barrier. So that is a great site. I know many districts in Oklahoma are using the free version. It only allows you a certain number of students at a time. So maybe you duplicate a space and add more students. I did do an earlier webinar on School AI, and one of the videos is found on my YouTube channel. So I am going to stop sharing and go back to my slide deck and start to show you another amazing tool is Snorkel. Do any of you use Snorkel? Have you heard of Snorkel? Anyone? People that I work with know that when I find a toy, I often run from person to person. And now I'm going to open up Snorkel. It is spelled like what you would think snorkel is, just without the E. I'm going to do a new share. And this one is great because it provides instant feedback immediately, and you can see the feedback it provides. So again, free version. I'm logging in and I have to share this tab. There we go. I am going to find a sample activity. And I'll start with a rectangular frame. So I'm going to respond with a blank board. And here is my math problem. I'm looking at a frame that's a quadrilateral. The perimeter is 146 centimeters. One length is 29 centimeters. What is the width going to be? And if you notice down here, I can press record, and now I can use my mouse and start to talk through the problem. I know a quadrilateral has 4 sides. I know that the perimeter is the area around the entire quadrilateral. I know that if one side is 29 centimeters, that the opposite side must be also 29 centimeters because they're parallel. And I know that I would add 29 plus 29, and you get the idea. But watch what it does. I'm submitting this now, and it is going to provide instant feedback. Well, not instant. We have to be patient just a little bit. It's generating feedback. And as an educator, you can see each person's attempt. You can see what they were thinking. So it scored me. It said that I did not give the correct answer. And I got 2 out of 4 points. And look, it will read the response back to me. Great job recognizing.
Great job recognizing.
Opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. It provides me the feedback. Down here, it says your explanation stopped before finding the actual width. Can you continue your thinking to get a numerical answer? And I can say respond again and continue with my previous board. So I don't have to wait for a teacher to come around and show me, check to see if I'm correct. We do need to see that, but sometimes we just want to take that formative assessment time. You can see that there are other sample things. I know here, I love this one. This is a family tree, and you have to explain the relationships in Spanish from Miguel. ¿Quién es Jorge? Well, let's see. Jorge would be his great-grandfather or her grandfather. So again, they would assess your content, and they do assess some of your actual intonation. And again, it's not as perfect or good as having you right there to support them in that language development, but you can see what they're thinking, and I thought that was pretty nice. There's even, I'm going to go to a harder, there's trig ratios, so we can use it all the way up through high school. And gas-filled balloons, Lisa, this is for you. Here it shows a chart with different balloons and bottles, and it's asking us to, could any of the gases listed in the data table be the same? Use the information from the table, cite evidence, and explain your justification. But in addition to this, if I go back up, I want to return to the teacher view. I want you to see right here that there are pre-created Snorkel questions. in all of these areas. Let's say I am going into third grade science. Look, life cycle challenge, survival squads, lion groups, temperature trends. All of these are pre-created, or it's very easy to go in and create your own. Do we want them to have whiteboard recording? I create a title. I can upload a picture or write my own question in. I modify the instructions, I generate it, and I can assign it to students. The fact that I can get that instant feedback, I think, is amazing. And let me share the other screen again. So those are two tools that have free aspects that would work with elementary, again, if your district approves them first. We want to ensure that when you are using AI or teaching students to use AI, that we're teaching them to not replace their thinking, but to enhance their thinking. And we need to teach them the ethical usage. We need to teach them think. An election year is coming up in about a year and a half here for our governor and for many roles here in Oklahoma. We're going to start to see a lot on TV, and our parents are not aware of many of the aspects of AI. So we need to ensure that we're providing that and sharing it with the community. And we do have to ensure that as we go through various ages, that we're using it appropriately. I would never let an elementary school student jump on ChatGPT and just go wild. We need to ensure that there are guardrails. But I can show you another example of how ChatGPT can be used. I know of a third grade teacher that was teaching elements of a story, and they wanted to do formative assessment. So the teacher was the driver with the AI tool. They were the ones sharing, typing in and everything. But the teacher called the students back one by one and was asking about elements of the story. Who's your main character? Who could be a supporting character? Describe them. What is the setting for the story? Time, place, what's the climax? They put those in and they asked the AI tool to create a first paragraph that could go along with that story. That could then be printed and the students could take that back to their desk and finish the story. Or if they didn't like that initial output, they could ask the AI tool to recreate it again. So there's an example of when we see teachers modeling appropriate use and letting students interact through your oversight. We do have to ensure, like I mentioned earlier, personally identifiable information. There are many sites that share ideas. Maybe you want to use an AI tool to create an IEP. If that's the case, we never put the student's name. You might say student A, and you would ensure that I have a student who I've tried this, this, and this, but we just have to make sure that we're not actually putting real information out there. So some AI resources. This first one is a great, easy, free course for teachers. Google is so good at providing quality, interactive trainings, and that is a great jumping off point if you take that first course. The second one, Google AI Essentials. It's more of a 6-hour course, but here's what's exciting. About 2 years ago, Governor Stitt and Google, because Google has a facility here in Oklahoma, joined together and announced that any Oklahoman could take the Google AI Essentials course for free. Normally costs about $50, does provide a certificate. So if you have your own children or other people, college students, anyone can take this for free, and it's a great introduction. The next one is IBM's AI Fundamentals. If you've got some maybe high school students, college students, it's like a next step up, and it's pretty interesting and challenging. If you want to implement ideas on using AI in your classroom, here are some great free references. The one shown here, the Hands-on AI Projects for the Classroom Guide on Ethics and AI, is just one that was created by ISTE and General Motors. They do have one specifically for elementary students, and the majority of those activities do not involve technology. It's learning how AI tools learn and work. Lots of great references and resources in all of these documents. Another thing is I've noticed that when you give students writing documents back and provide feedback, do they ever really look at them? Do they ever want to make edits? I found that if you give them image creators, and we're talking again, it would have to be safe and secure. Maybe you're the one doing the input, but students will definitely refine their prompts if they're not happy with that output. So I actually fell down a hole one day and was trying to make a picture of my husband as a Muppet. He doesn't really appreciate the eyebrows or all of the gray hair, but I was just reiterating all of the prompts to see if I could get something that looked close to him. So before I end and take any questions, here's some things I want you to know. Remember, you're still the teacher, and AI is a tool, not a replacement. Your expertise is what guides student learning. And we know the importance of relationships, student to student and student to teacher. And while AI can provide output, your creativity is what makes that lesson special. And we always have to ensure that you are helping to provide safe environments for your students. So AI can help you become an even better teacher. And then, if you have found this interesting at all and would like to come to a more intense hands-on training, I know all of us in our elementary education team will be traveling the state, most of us. We all have different dates and locations, but I will be at these 5 locations on these 5 dates, and my sessions will go from 8:30 to 11:30 in the morning, I think. And each of these is a direct link to registering to attend. I do also offer like office hours and virtual training. My next virtual training will be on the 23rd, and I will talk about AI literacy. October 21st, I will talk about what it takes to write a strong AI prompt. And then on the 3rd Tuesday of every month from 6 to 7, I just hang out on Zoom. And if you come in, you want to ask about questions, you want to see how a tool works, you want guidance and support, I'm here. It's come and go. So I would love to have some of you join me. And any questions, you can unmute or put it in the chat or have any of you used an AI tool, either for yourself or with students? I know my husband is extremely dyslexic. He was the person that used that little carry around computer dictionary thing, and AI has made a big difference in his life in just assuring that what he's saying is what he's saying. It can really help as long as we understand we're not using it for everything all the time. Well, thank you for coming tonight. I'm going to stop the recording, and I believe that our next